Matt Damon?
No, I'm saying that's a good movie, and then you're saying 8 Mile's a classic?
Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Okay, so E.G.
And everyone thought Aragon would be a really great movie. All right, the draft is fully underway. Before we actually start talking about the draft, I want to give a massive shout out to all the people who are, tuning in at some ungodly hour of the morning over in Europe, to all the Americans that are currently tuning in, and most importantly, to the hardcore dedicated crowd that's still here for the last game of the night. You guys have been absolutely amazing. It's one of the most friendliest crowds that I have definitely had the wonderful experience to cast for, so it's been absolutely wonderful, and to reward you, Troll has been banned.
Yeah, and actually, this is probably maybe my, I don't know, I just said probably maybe. This might be my favorite event just because everyone's been so nice. I know the players also say that all of the fans for this event especially are really respectful. Everyone's been really kind. Yeah. Whenever they have criticism too, it's actually done constructively. Sometimes I'll go to an event and somebody will just like shit sling at me, but this one has been great.
The funny thing is, I haven't heard anything negative from any of the players. I'm looking forward to listening to PPD's vlog to see what he says about the event. But it's been a wonderful experience. So while we have the moments before we end up wrapping up at the end of the night, I just want to say big shout out as well to MLG for getting back into Dota 2. It's great to have them here in the scene. Yeah. And thanks to everyone who has actually learned that there is a world outside of one streaming platform. There are multiple streaming platforms in the world. So shout out to you guys too. Draft time, Blitz. Let's bring it to Dota. We've had enough of a joke session, so let's get into the game.
It's never enough of a joke session over on joinDota. All right, so we've got Team Empire taking the sniper first. You've got Evil Geniuses, though. I talked about the 2 out of the 3 counters that hard counter sniper, right? What did we just see? We
Storm Spirit, Clockwork, and
immediately.
Spectre. That's
Spirit Breaker.
And Spirit Breaker, sorry.
Close enough.
Spectre works as well.
So you've got the Clockwork and the Storm Spirit immediately picked up, and Empire baiting that Storm Spirit, taking the Disruptor. That's so dangerous, though. This is the hero that I can't stress enough. Like, when you play Storm, it feels different than any other hero, Toby. It really does, because the mechanics of the hero, I'm telling you from experience.
Sorry, do you want a Craigasm?
No, it's just the fact that when it comes to this hero, oh man, everything I'm going to say is going to sound so weird, but when it comes to Storm Spirit, it's different than any other mid hero that you're going to play. The mechanics of it, you play by feel, and so you're giving Sumail a hero, which you remember he had that one rough game against MVP, but every game since then, he's absolutely dominated on this hero. I think like in 2 of the games I saw, he had a sub 25-minute Bloodstone and an Orchid. You can't discount his impact. And I think he's going to play better against the Disruptor than he did in the MVP game. And in that game,
it was also really weak. Like on that first day, he kind of storm bolted into the static storm. That was where some problems were. Like you felt like he can go for it. You felt like he was invincible, and then EG got knocked down not once but twice. And since that point, he's been really on the mark and not overextending himself.
Yeah, he's been playing that perfectly controlled aggression sort of style. And I mean, you give Universe the Clockwork as well, which he's played absolutely phenomenally on this entire tournament.
Yep.
The other reason, too, that they pick the Clockwork every game is so that they can constantly scout out the Roshan. You notice past the 10-minute mark, what Universe does with his rockets, he doesn't scout anywhere else. He doesn't stack Ancients. All he does is throw a friendly rocket into the Rosh Pit at all times just to make sure that you're not doing it. Yep. Empire, though, the one thing that they do lack right now, the Roshan ability.
That's very, very true. But you've still got another 3 pickups to come. And if we actually start looking a little bit closer at Empire's heroes, you got Sniper and Disruptor. Both heroes which you cannot run away from unless you're Storm Spirit. Or you have a target you can hookshot out to. Okay, 2 heroes which you can potentially run away from. But you have Sniper and Disruptor. They're meant to force EG into fights which they do not want to take. The glimpse back ability is actually really bad for a Clockwork if he hookshots out and tries to glimpse, and he gets glimpsed just as he's about to do it. Because then you're going to come back in, you've got no more escape mechanisms to really play around with. And that's where Empire can try and capitalize on the situation. They've still got a lot more to play around with. You've got a good team fight ulti, which can potentially be countered by the man who I hate his grin. I hate his remodel.
I don't know if he's
so
grinning, dude.
Weird.
He doesn't have eyes. He doesn't know what he's looking at.
You can tell it from the teeth. He's like the guy from Lord of the Rings that comes out. So it's like, I have something I was bidden to show thee.
What? All right. I really need to watch more movies.
Know?
I don't know a lot of popular culture, but
I don't know if I can talk with you anymore.
All right, so he's going to sip his Red Bull. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. The Faceless Void, we saw them pick it up.
Monster, aren't I?
against the end.
I'm sipping whoever wants to pay for the next season and more. It could be a 7-Up. It could be a Sprite.
What are you laughing at? Nobody's laughing with you. So we've got...
That's one of those ones which you'll eventually work out later on.
They're clapping for me, Toby. Do you hear it?
Yes.
All right, so we've got... All right, let me analyze.
What are you laughing at, Blitz?
Nothing at all. At myself. So we got the Faceless Void picked up by Evil Geniuses. They used it against NIP as well, if you remember earlier, and they actually dominated with that hero. They synergized with it really well. This was one of the heroes that you saw EG especially play very often. Normally it went for Universe, but I'm assuming just because the Clockwork has been picked up already, it's probably going to be a Fear hero. But it does well against all 3 heroes that Empire have so far.
Yep. I'm wondering if Resolution's almost doing a bit of a block pick as well with Queen of Pain. So there's no way to get the Sonic Wave into the Chrono, because that's exactly the combination they ran last time. So it's just being denied by Resolution, and it's one of these things too where I kind of almost want to take another moment out before we end this draft, just to talk about the different styles of Dota that we have seen today. Like the way MVP played, the way NIP played, the way now Team Empire played, and the fact that EG have to accommodate all of them all in a row. This is now their 8th game they've had to play today. They're obviously tired. Fear normally doesn't play more than 3 games before that wrist starts to give out, or elbow, whatever part of his arm. So the fact they've managed to do this is just a testament, 1, to their stamina, and 2, to how dynamic that team can be. Also just how dynamic the gameplay can be. Because all these teams brought something new, and they didn't just go Faceless Void Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm really impressed about too is that we've just seen a variety of styles, like you say, that match up. We haven't seen that whole thing that a lot of pros complain about with high ground defense and games turning into 2-hour affairs. Everybody is playing to win. I was about to say, and I didn't want to interrupt you, I think it's going to be the Witch Doctor pickup next, but
it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's really obvious.
Yeah.
It's the classic combination.
Try yourself something harder and tell me what the second support hero of EG will be.
Okay, it's going to be... If they play normally, I'm going to say it might be...
You know what I'm going to say?
Could be a Rubik pick. Omni? Are you going to say Omni Knight?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to say Vengeful Spirit.
Okay. Well, okay, so you'll say Venge.
Yep.
I'll say it'll be...
Oh, really?
Omni? That's going to be my off-the-wall pick.
Okay.
And my normal pick will be... Tree?
Tree and Protector?
They have, like, no damage on their supports early then.
10 seconds remaining.
Zeus?
Rubik's actually even better now. I'm actually
Rubik
really
can work out
liking.
too.
I'm really liking Rubik. Up against someone like Undying, there's so much great stuff to steal. But not to mention Disruptor Sniper as well as Quab. Like Sniper, you're either going to get Shrapnel or you're going to get Assassination. If you can get range, of course. That's the other small catch. But what I'm worried about is, like, if Storm Spirit does get caught inside that Static Storm, then you need to have someone that can get them out of trouble. I don't know, because I don't know if EG really have that. Beyond Faceless Void jumping in with a Chronosphere and splitting the fight up, there's no real escape mechanisms for EG.
Yeah.
Or get out jail free card things. The Rubik Telekinesis would do it in a way.
I think they need some sort of lockdown aside from in one of their supports, or they need something to protect Samael. Dazzle, Omni Knight, Vengeful Spirit, all of these heroes are something that I'd like to see. And almost nobody picks Omni though. Like, it's something that's pretty rare. But it's just one of those off-the-wall predictions that if they do, then I'll look really smart. And if they don't, then I'll look okay too.
Well, I could be really smart and say Empire's going to ban Ancient Apparition, but that's also because I was peeking.
So you looked over.
Yeah, because that would have been a great combination here with the Faceless Void. Would stop that regeneration that Undying tries to offer. The question I kind of have is, how is Empire going to run this? You got a Queen of Pain, which can run offlane. I'm assuming Funny's going to take that. He's really actually quite good on the Queen of Pain. And then Sniper into the mix, take him towards the mid lane for Resolution. And then, what, aggro tri-lane with Disruptor and Undying? Is Disruptor aggro material? Does Undying make it enough aggro material? Or you... Because what's Undying really going to do against Universe's Faceless Void?
Oh, so good at this! Oh my god, Toby! Whatever you guys pay me, it's just not enough.
Wait, you get paid?
Omni Knight is the last pickup for Evil Geniuses. The reason I saw this coming, think about it right now. The Storm Spirit, what stops it? Like, it's only the Disruptor. If you Throw down the repel on him. There's absolutely nothing. There's no BKB breaking abilities. You've got the pure damage from the Queen of Pain. You don't care about that. There are no natural diffusal buyers as well. Omni Knight is the last pickup for Evil Geniuses. Saw it coming a mile away, Tobes. Are you ashamed?
Do you want me to say, Blitz, you're wonderful?
I am.
Korea is sad that they lost you.
They really are.
joinDota is the greatest because we only have you. Everyone compares to nothing
We're definitely
next to
not
you.
the greatest, but so last pick for Team Empire.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we are. They need a carry.
Give us time.
What do you pick for Silent? Dro?
Hey, no.
You've got 4, Razor. It's good against the Void.
Yeah, it's definitely because the Void will have to get out of the chronosphere if that ends up going down. For right now, I kind of just look at this as is Team Empire looking for teamfight control more than anything else. And the Razor can give that to you. With Plasma Field, with Eye of the Storm, it does make you feel like you've got to walk away. And if Face the Void does try and jump on the Razor, and you're able to get either the static link off, or you have that ultimate up, and he has a Mask of Madness, that Face the Void is going to be in a lot of trouble. You were mentioning it during our previous game, where it was Face's Void. He turned on Mask of Madness, got hit by Assassination, and got hit by, well, it could be Scream or even anything else here. And he basically went down to maybe 10-20% of his HP. And the same kind of thing can happen. But it's also, at the same time, the way EG play this Faceless Void, it's actually in the hands of Fear. So, wait, hang on. So, yeah, Universe will be the Clockwork. So, they're actually playing him as a core role, so it is a little bit more important if he does drop.
Yeah, and EG, I mean, I'm so excited right now. Sumail gets a signature hero in the final game. This is what you hope for, especially if you're not paying attention at all to what I'm saying and looking at the cosmetic items.
I'm paying attention. Yeah, I'm listening.
So
I'm always listening.
Sumail,
I'm like Fraser Crane, man.
I mean, he's had one poor performance against the Disruptor, but ever since then, he's been absolutely dominant. And EG gathering up. Looks like they want to just contest this rune. Maybe even go for the top one because it's the easiest one to get. And maybe they even go for a dual offlane. If you notice too, that actually no, there's the boots on Universe. I'd imagine he's just a little bit afraid.
Yeah, he's gonna need that distance to get away. Primarily, if it's like Razor anywhere near him, he's gonna need the speed to get away or to get out of the shrapnel of the Dwarven Sniper. I'd say to run away from the Disruptor, but with the boots, he can also keep that perfect distance. So bottom rune is going to belong to Empire. Resolution is going to be grabbing that one as the Dwarven Sniper. It's an off-lane Queen of Pain, so Funnick will be taking up that role. Aloha dances the Undying, but it's always going to fly in the role as the Disruptor, and then Silent, the very loud electrical storm of a Razor. He'll be going up against the off-lane of Evil Geniuses, which currently is Aoi 2000. He'll be there as the Witch Doctor. It is the dual off-lane with the Faceless Void, point to Blitz. And then we'll have Sumail, Storm Spirit in the mid, and it's a safe lane dual lane with Universe as well as Omni Knight. That, for me, is danger zone right there. If Queen of Pain's caught out with Blink Dagger out, then you're going to cog up, you're going to get battery assaulted, and you're going to get purified.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, I thought they were going to dual offlane with the Void just because you have to assume if there's an Undying in the game, he wants to get aggressive, and Fear's not going to be able to contest that at all. But at the same time, look at how Empire have drafted. They have the Razor at top. This is a lose-lose situation right now for EG.
Yeah. Well, is it completely? Because I'm watching Resolution getting zoned out of mid.
Yeah,
he's buying time because Aoi left it behind so he can come into Resolution, walk up, and then just force him out. And he's winning on the damage battle. It's 59 damage versus 47 damage. So Aoi has the advantage at this point. And Resolution, he's just trying to play for space. That's why he leveled up Take Aim.
Yeah, the main reason that he's doing this too, Toby, is that the top lane and the bottom lane, they aren't winnable for now. Like, the Queen of Pain is going to do quite well against the Clockwork and the Omni Knight. There's no harass potential coming from them, and even the kill potential is incredibly low just because Queen of Pain will have that blink, and with the change to it, it's so large. And at top too, I mean, a Disruptor alone is able to zone out Fear, and you've got Silent, a better hero.
Wow. Wow.
Aloha dance from behind.
Resolution, be really careful. He's got that malediction on him. That's first blood. It's Aoi. It's going to tick a second time. Resolution, he just sends. There's nothing more he can do. His first blood to Aoi 2000. Undying couldn't kill him in time.
And that's actually so huge because it frees up this mid lane. Typically, snipers lose in this lane. Or not snipers. Storms lose in this lane to the sniper one-on-one. And AUI, he realizes the top lane not going to do anything. The bottom lane, how are you going to zone out a Queen of Pain and an Undying? So he goes to the smart thing. He tries to guarantee himself at least one lane wand.
Well, they managed to do that. I'm still watching Universe closely because I want to see just how successful Queen of Pain is going to be. And I also want to watch how fast PPD is able to find these levels. Because he's about to pull down. He's up at 2.5 levels on the Omni Knight. And what's the progression we should look? Like, you're not running a core Omni Knight, so you're not getting really fast levels. How does PPD play the support Omni Knight?
Play far back, wait for things to happen. That's the PPD special. You wait for somebody to get initiated on. You're always there in good position with the heal and the repel. Just play the sacrificial role that we've seen him do so often. Like, PPD's role this game in every game that he's played on EG so far, make your cores look good. Sit behind them. Catch them when they fall, essentially. See what I did there?
I saw what you did there. It was wonderful. I was impressed.
Thank you. That's the only song that I could think of in my head right now.
Well, I can't get it out of my head right now.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to move on from that. And at top, I mean, Silent, 13 CS. If you take a look at Fear, what did we say at the beginning of this tournament? Fear typically always gets free farm.
Wow, owie. Careful, man. He's coming in a long, long way. There's Glimpse. He's going to be dragged back here. Resolution with a shrapnel. Too short on the first one. And now he's got time to walk away. Actually being body blocked up by his teammates. Illusion.
You were going to say replicate, but yeah.
It's been a long day.
It's the same thing.
It's been a very long day, but it's also been a great day. It's sort of the same thing. One's a little bit tankier. Speaking of tankier, how is even Queen of Pain? Okay, so Queen of Pain is pretty well shutting down this Clockwork. He doesn't have a hell of a lot to speak of. The Shadow Strike's been keeping Universe back, but probably more of the fear of what Undying is going to do to him if he does come in close is even more scary. But the Omni Knight with the Purification, like, he repels the damage, or he heals up the damage. Beyond that, I'm not seeing Clockwork being able to get CS with the time PPD's here. Like, PPD's, all of his CS is coming from inside the jungle.
He needs to get levels because you can't contest as an Omni Knight. Like, that's not a hero that you want to try to right-click out of Queen of Pain or an Undying out of. And I'm a little bit concerned right now because EG, they pin so much of their hopes on this Omni Knight Storm combination. Like, this is what the main weakness of picking this combo is, that your lanes are going to suffer heavily because you're putting everything on this Storm.
But what more do you really need apart from, like, okay, the duration at 12 seconds on Repel is going to be terrific. But at the same time, like, you're still looking at Storm Spirit finding level 6 now. He's going to be able to do what's required. And considering also the long-range jumps, which you always see the Storm Spirit going for, especially Sumail. I don't know how he manages to get the perfect mana control, but he goes a very long way. 6 seconds is more than enough time for him to inflict damage.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about, though, if I'm EG, is that Fear right now only has 2 CS. Every game this tournament so far, we've seen him get almost uncontested CS, minus the game from MVP Phoenix, and putting him in this off lane, it's kind of the best of a bad situation, because if he was against the Queen of Pain, things would be even worse, I feel. But against the Razor as well, he's not having much more success in Universe. It's not like he's getting a lot at bottom. Almost all of their hopes are on this mid lane right now.
Samelita just ball lightning himself all the way away from Always Wanna Fly. With 2 points up in Glimpse, he has to go the extra mile with that ball lightning, or else he'll just be dragged back.
Yeah, and at top again, AUI has rotated now. He has to try to secure Fear some farm. It doesn't really matter if you have a Chronosphere if you don't have any levels on your Witch Doctor or yourself, and not having any farm on a Faceless Void. You do need at least bare minimum a Master Madness and Treads to have some impact here.
Yeah, which is the beauty of the Empire lineup, but they don't really require that, where EG, they got the double combos. I guess Witch Doctor and Faceless Void together, and then it's Repel and Storm Spirit together, so unless both these heroes are ready to fight and ready to do something, then, as pairs, then they don't really get the advantage. And Sumail, not really with a hell of a lot of mana, force back, resolution. He doesn't have assassination, he's not level 6 just yet. And Storm Spirit, well, you've got the purification anyway, so they won't find a kill. But you've got both the supports now sitting behind Sumail to make sure he can get back up and ready to fight. Sentry wards from Aoi, yep. And he's going to see the Dire Observe ward, as well as Always Wanna Fly.
And Always Wanna Fly has to back out of there. All 3 supports, like you said. I can't stress this enough. Sumail's lane is the only lane that you can really go to if you're EG. You have to fight behind this Storm. And I think they're asking for so much out of their young player.
It's sacking too much. Like, if you look at it from the old, like, if it was EG playing the normal roles, then it's Fear and a safe laner who should be looking at farm. And then it's the Void on the off lane who just wants to find levels and get towards the Chronosphere, while Wish Doctor gets his levels out of the jungle. But Aoi spent so much time in this middle lane. He's only 3.5 levels, and Universe is getting nowhere near the amount of farm that Fear would normally be able to get. So what you've practically got is 2 sacked offlane rolls that's coming out from EG, and Storm Spirit's the only other hope. And what are you going to kill? You're going to kill a sniper who's level 6.5, who's only got 27 CS. Yes, he's getting out CS, but your Quap's going to hit her sweet timing. The Undying's able to freely level, and Silent, it's uncontested safe lane farming, and I assume a very quick mech that will allow Empire's teamfight to come online very, very early. So then they can, I'm not going to say force down buildings because they don't really have that. Resolution's the only one that really helps with that, but they can at least force engagements against EG. At the same time, yeah, you're seeing that combo, it's not going to happen. They back up behind the tower.
He's got to be careful. You don't want to get initiated on by that storm. And man, what a tale that would be if Sumail, despite his 2 lanes completely failing right now for EG, if he's able to pull this one out. I mean, 15 years old and being asked to do so much right now for them.
Yeah. At the same time, Team Empire, they're playing this game perfectly, and I don't think we've given really enough props to the Russians during this best-of-3 series.
Oh, for
They've
sure.
still played some amazing Dota, and now they've drafted themselves into some very, very stable lanes. All they gotta do is just keep it up and execute correctly and be very, very mindful of the storm. If they can do all of that, they've got this grand final in the bag, and it means so much to Empire to win this. With TI5 invites meant to be coming out within the next month, if they can win an event on land, that's the other major thing. Like, defeating NIP, defeating MVP, they're not bad things to have next to you, but if you can defeat the team that placed 3rd at the last TI, that won DAC, that just have the reputation as the best, if not, well, obviously debatable, next to Secret, the best team in the Western scene, that's a huge pimp. That's an amazing thing to basically put on your CV.
Yeah, and at the same time, too, you're doing it with the stand-in, and Empire have done so well for themselves this entire tournament. We can't discount that at all. Getting to the first place automatically by winning the group stage so hard over everyone else. And they've actually completely, in terms of the lanes, they've done a really good job of drafting purely rely on the laning phase.
Empire's got to be careful. This is the perfect time for EG, and they're going to time walk in and get the Chronosphere over on Silent. The Glimpse going to take him away. The Purification combo can't work, but in comes Sumail. They'll control the Razor up, and this should be a kill going the way of EG. 12 HP, they haven't finished the jump, now they will. It's the Wish Not to Malediction, but Empire, they bring the whole King Caboodle. A Sonic Wave will kill off Fear. He's not even attacking, he's just so slow. So you lose your Faceless Void for a Razor, but you did bring the entire team in for this.
Yeah, and you're probably okay with that rotation because
as
now,
long as you take the tier 1, yeah.
Yeah, it opens up Universe to finally get some farm right now, and Empire playing this game really well. Good rotations, being able to catch somebody. Like, that's the thing, is that most of the time EG don't get punished for a move like that, and being able to get something out of it is perfectly fine, and you slow down the Razor's farm on top of that.
Sumail might look for another jump. Queen of Pain, Vortex, it's a haste rune, but Sumail could chase it, but he doesn't want to.
If that's not a haste or an invis, Funnick is actually dead there. Like, he's got full mana, he's got a soul ring up as well. That was risky.
Yep. He didn't evade the Shadow Strike with that jump. And a little bit of frustration. Whoa! Big jump in, the Purification. There's still a haste rune, which is why he's going to get away from this. The rocket, they attack from the tower! Funnick is going to go down! If it wasn't for the rocket from Universe, he was pretty close, but that's a level 4 rocket. That's the only reason why he had enough damage to ensure the death of Funnick.
Universe Dota. Always there when you need him. He's just been so reliable and stable for his team, and being able to punish that rotation, but still, I think Funnick just got a little bit too aggressive there both times, blinking for the rune and trying to get aggressive on the Storm there.
If he did get the kill though, like if he got the kill, he would have just, like the snowball effect for Empire would have been amplified.
Oh, for sure, that would have been perfectly worth it. You kill a mid laner for your off laner, but at the same time, going for that is so risky because you don't want Sumail to get anything for free.
They want to jump bottom. Silent starts to static link up. Took 28 points of damage, but Universe doesn't care about that. Hook shot. Yep, there it is. Lock him in. They need the Purification over on Universe. He makes the hole, saying, Silent, if you want to get out of here, go for it. There's your Purification and the jump in from Sumail. You do have Funnick. The assassination. PPD's going to die here. Here, the bullet flies in. So it's a 1-for-1 trade-off. The Glimpse, it's going to drag Sumail back, and that's why he didn't get far enough away. Can he get out of this one? The wall is up, but he could just fly. That's actually getting chased. So can he. Right behind him. How much damage is there? There's a bottle charge available for Storm Spirit. Not enough. Undying comes in with a decay. They couldn't find any timing. PPD also ended up dying. And they're searching for that one little guy that's at the back, but it was Universe, and he TP'd back to the tier 1 tower. So the Tombstone dropped for no reason.
Yeah, they finally slowed down the Storm's progression. And you do still have the mech on the Razor, so nothing too much, nothing lost for Empire. They're actually getting a lot out of this laning phase and propelling it pretty good forward. You've got the mech on the Razor as well, and as long as Silent doesn't die again, he has to be a little bit more careful about how aggressive he's getting.
Owie. He's fine. What he did up on top lane though, and what I'm hoping he's going to level up, because he hasn't done it yet, is his ultimate. So he jumps out. Okay, that means the Storm Spirit TPing up, but Owie. Okay, that's right, because what am I talking about? He TP back to base, so he has to walk himself out, but he's going to have that Death Ward now available. He has leveled it up, and this is the combination with Fear.
And there's your damage that you need for the Faceless Void.
Yep.
If you don't have a Mask of Madness, you've got a Witch Doctor Ward. It's the same thing. Yasha coming out on Resolution soon. Still good farm by Empire right now. Silent is still the top in terms of farm. He has died twice recently, but he has that pivotal mech, and I'm not sure how EG are going to hold unless they hit some sort of miracle 3 or 4 man Faceless Void Chrono. With the Witch Doctor ult going off at the exact same time?
They just need to get a call with that. Like, if they get a call with the Chrono, then they're fine. And then Universe has to do what he was doing in the previous game with the Clockwork. You hook yourself in to the heroes on the back line, and then control them up. Like, stop the Disrupt from being able to get his combo off by getting the hookshot in, the battery assault, stopping the channeling.
Yeah, and Universe has been relatively quiet. 1 or 2 initiations this game, and that rocket did kill Funning, but...
The scouts out Resolution moving down south. Now, EG know this, like, EG have actually done this really nicely with just the last couple of moments. So they got the combination, which they know can kill, jumps down, and the Chrono, he just got Resolution on the edge. Owie may as well just let the Death Ward go. They want him down, and Sumail jumping on the edge, and actually the Static Storm's in the wrong position, even if they use Glimpse at the moment. That's why Storm is hanging around. He wants the Death of Always when a flying free escapes, and the Glimpse is going to drag him all the way back, but he's into Roshan. Ball charges, he can get himself up on top of the hillside. As long as he doesn't get bashed, it's going to be okay, and there's the jump away. The Sonic Wave! Perfect from Funnick. He realized the spill area was going to be enough to kill off Sumail. So a Sumail for Resolution, but that's more than worth it for Team Empire, because Resolution's worth nowhere near as much.
Especially since you've pinned so much on the Storm Spirit. He needs to snowball, and dying right there actually isn't worth it for him at all. And he could have gone away as well, but dances around a little bit too much, and Universe continuing to farm at this top lane, kind of playing the Fear role right now, / AUI role, where you're just waiting for opportunities by camping up this top tower, and actually they're both ready. AUI doesn't have the Death Ward, but level 1 Maledict, the hook would be enough.
He needs that line. And with an extra TP coming in, what's our vision we're looking at? He's blind. There's no vision whatsoever, so he doesn't even see the second TP coming in. So if he hook shots in, Resolution's fine, because they'll just glimpse him back out again. And the creep wave's also blocking Universe's line.
And Universe has been waiting up here for quite some time now. He is playing very patiently. Fear in middle lane. 41 CS only to his name. Not a whole lot of farm, but he does finally have the Mask of Death, so even going to the jungle right now is an option for him, but he needs his team to kind of open up the map for him at this point. GPD at bottom trying to get some levels as well, and Sumail is just completely rotated to jungle to try to open up the map for Fear to farm a little bit.
Yeah. Empire's actually giving them a lot of space. You picked up this early mech, but still, none of the tier 1 towers have gone down. You're 5-5 on the board. The experience, there's nothing in it. The gold is becoming less in it. Because EG are able to farm up on their lanes, they're making the most out of their jungle, and Empire, it's kind of like the downside about their lineup. They're not using anyone to jungle. They're using them in all to team fight, so you're not really making the most out of the resources on your side of the map. Because obviously they're looking for the resources on the radiant side of the map, aka towers. Universe, okay, Blade Mail's turned up. They're going to glimpse him back in again. He's still got a hookshot available. The Cogs, the assassination's going to come. He wants to hookshot himself away. He's still going to die for this. But Silent's very, very deep. He'll take a bit of damage from the tower, but they're going to group up and mech it anyway and force into the buildings. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, Funnick TP's away from PPD. And both these towers will end up dying. Fear can't do enough damage to the tier 1 tower to force any kind of trade-off, and Empire's looking really good, 16 minutes in.
Yeah, they're looking really dominant. Being able to snowball off your laning phase like this, typically you don't see this, but I mean, the laning phase normally doesn't mean this much in Dota, but just because of the fact that you want 2 lanes so hard, and you didn't really get anything else out of it.
Shadow Strike, let's try to slow down Fear. The Time War can actually evade the Shadow Strike. Or Resolution might get there in time to land a couple of headshots.
He's almost got his SNY now as well, and the key thing here is that Sumail has to be so careful about rolling in without the Omni Knight near him. And PPD, he's been trying to get levels on his own. Hasn't really been a part of much. Empire grouping up for mid tower.
Hey, where's this jump going to come?
Radiant's
Storm Spirit
middle
would like to,
tower
but
is under attack.
with no repel, actually they got, oh wow, that Chrono is ready. And Witch Doctor, he's coming into position too, and yeah, Empire, like, I think they're realizing that they're grouping up way too much. It's like what happened during game number 1. You get that line in, he gets 3-man stuns onto the Team Empire line. It's like, well, how the hell is this happening? They have to split themselves up to go up against this Faceless Void, especially Disruptor.
Yeah, don't get into these 5-on-5 engagements right now,
Yep.
because it's not worth it.
But they're forcing it. Like they've got all 5 players, well, almost. They got 4. Funnick's down at the bottom lane. But it feels like they're trying to force it.
Yeah, they're gonna go for the wraparound. See what they can get. Funnick hasn't showed himself yet.
AG just did the same thing. They just smoked it up. And the person they're going to find is it's Sumail with a haste rune. They loop around, they come in at the wrong time. They know where Sumail is. In fact, that observer ward of theirs was watching him walk over to the mid. Yet they still decided to walk down south.
They're gonna evade each other's jungles, but on opposite sides of the map, and at least for Empire, you've got Funnick farming in this bottom lane, so they're getting the slightly better of this trade right now. Resolution isn't farming at all, but Universe showed himself mid, and Sumail at top as well. Looks like they're just content to farm out the jungle.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
All right, now Empire also. Low
this a
time.
Roche?
Yes, Roche. But what does EG even do here? Like, you can try and come down to contest. You can TP into the tier 1 tower and mid. And in fact, that's actually... Well, Sumail can push out the bottom lane quickly. It doesn't have Orchid available just yet. Where's this? Oh yeah, Yakuru's going the wrong direction. It's going to come back over towards the team now.
Dire's top
Flying
tower
in, and
is
there's that
under
rocket.
attack.
Again, such a pest universe. Watching everything. And with that Chronosphere combo, they know they don't want to fight into it. But the Dire Observer Wars, they're watching him. Assassination of PPD, and they got the Orchid on
PPD
him.
gets
That's
so
enough
low.
damage. And attempted denial by Sumail. He couldn't get it off, so he'll have to jump himself away to safety to the tier 2 tower.
Agony.
But with PPD down, now Storm doesn't have that ticket to jump.
And that's one way to combo.
But still watch out for the Faceless Void. The Dire Observer Ward coverage is so good. They've committed so much to make sure that this Roshan goes off without a hitch.
Universe, rocket in 4 seconds. Do they want to contest this?
No.
I mean, Sumail's not even close.
Void's too far away.
Yeah, we've seen them do this so many times this tournament, but I don't know if this is the one.
Yeah.
Roshan has fallen to die.
If Universe went in there, it would have only been to snipe out Roshan and then die twice. That would be it.
They're just trying to make space right now to farm. I think this is the correct choice, honestly. You don't have your Omni Knight quite ready yet. I know Sumail's done it a lot this entire tournament, but I don't think this is the time to do it. It's game 3. You don't have all 5 heroes. Fear isn't even in position. Use this time instead to try to catch him back up and farm. Like, he doesn't have enough farm right now to really fight. He does have the Mask of Madness, but there is a mech on the side of Empire. And so just continue to farm. Pick up some items, use that time, force Empire to get into a 5v5 situation because they have the mech. Make them think that they're a little bit too safe.
Radiant's
Farm out the
middle
map as
tower
much as you
is
can,
under
and then
attack.
play the waiting game.
And that waiting game, they could be waiting a while. Empire, they're showing that patience, which was absent from them on day 1, but they really found on day
Dire's
2
top tower
of this
is
land
under
final.
attack.
And they're going to take the tier 1 tower.
Fortified. Radiant's middle tower
They're
has
going to lose their
fallen.
top tower at the same time, though, and it only took Fear to be able to do that. So EG get the
Dire's top
advantage in
tower
terms of a
has
little bit more
fallen.
farm on their heroes.
Still, though, overall, Empire. Because they're farming up all of the Radiant jungle. I know Aoi is now attempting to farm up Empire's jungle, but he's a Witch Doctor.
Never doubt AUI. I swear to God, we're going to look away for like 3 minutes and he's going to have an axe. It's just been like the theme of the tournament, is that he somehow finds farm on the map for himself.
Sumail's looking to mid. He's got that Orchid up and running, so potentially he could Orchid onto the Queen of Pain. There's not a lot that Quap could do about it, apart from
Radiant's
have a
bottom
haste rune
tower is
activated.
under attack.
And then he just run himself away to safety, which is exactly what he did have. Hence, no dice.
It looks like he actually wants to initiate on Fear. Fear pops the Mask of Madness. The Orchid's going to come as well.
Leap away. Yep, there's the Orchid. Whoa! Okay. With the Plasma Field as well as Sonic Wave hitting exactly the same time, Fear was taken from hero to 0 in very, very quick, very short amount of time.
Yeah, probably figured he could have survived there. But with the Orchid up, it's difficult unless he's got some sort of RNG god on his side. And knowing EG this tournament, it might just be possible. And Empire back themselves away from bottom as well. They get some much needed damage on this tier 2 towers. And they managed to pick up Fear. And AUI, he's up at top. He does have a point booster. Not too close to his Aghanims just yet, though.
This net worth still coming the way of Empire. 20k is what they did have at the end of the last game, but they held on a 15,000 advantage and still couldn't finish the job. And maybe that's what we should start looking at. But this game is going on longer and longer and longer. How quickly is Empire going to try and end this game? And how effective are their supports going to be going into the later portion of the game? Primarily Undying, because he is renowned for a hero as a hero that just drops off after like 30, 35.
Honestly, the one thing I'm worried about this Undying so far is that, like you said, Undying's the type of hero that thrives on getting into team fights, and he hasn't really been able to get into these long team fights where his tombstone goes up, he gets the multiple man decay, and look at his level as a result. He's only level 8, and take a look at Always Want to Fly. He got his level 6 so quickly, and since then, what is he right now? Level 7?
Is under attack.
But they're all holding back. They're giving as much space to the cause of Empire as possible.
Yeah, you've got a tri-core as well. Like, that's super greedy. And if Empire are able to win this out in the early game with the tri-core, I mean, you've got to feel a little bit safer in the late game. And on top of that, too, look at what Silent's building. Instead of going for a typical build, you're going for this Diffusal Blade just to counter Sumail right now.
Because you need to get that repel off him. Without it, you can't control anything.
Yeah, maybe he has to build the BKB, or Lincoln's on top of that, too. We'll see, but Empire, they're gearing towards this bottom right now. I don't know if this is a bit aggressive. Yeah,
they might be able to do some chip damage. They're trying to force the fight again. That's what this really is coming down to. Empire trying to force a reaction from EG. So EG just can't keep farming up inside the jungle or split pushing like they're currently doing. They're going to do some damage to the tier 2 tower, but they're coming back. So PPD is the first one to arrive, and the tower's already dropped by 1/3.
Yeah, this is actually getting a lot lower than I thought EG would allow. And at top, AUI is...
Well, Fear's not ready to fight. In fact, Fear is having the Maelstrom. Yeah, they're just turning it around. They're going to TP back in a moment. Because that Maelstrom has to go on top of Fear. That means he's got no buyback, but Sumail does.
There's no TP on Sumail, though, is the scary thing for him right now. And Empire, EG are trying to bait out that Witch Doctor at top. How many times have they done that with AUI? And actually, nobody's near him. They have to know about this now, too. And they know no TP is available on Sumail.
Here's that TP coming back from the Witch Doctor. Universe being glimpsed away. And remember, Fear as well as the Witch Doctor. That's the primary combo you're searching for. And Empire, they're too clustered. There is that horrible choke point in this little area here where they have to fall back. But Fear wasn't in a great position to jump, but they got what they wanted. They stopped EG from doing their split push, and they realized the timing of it. The Aegis model only just timed out.
Yeah, probably more importantly than that too is that Sumail doesn't have a TP available to him, wasn't able to get down. He was trying to bait AUI at top. He wanted the same thing to happen, which happened to Fear. You know, the Funnick comes in, tries to get the solo kill on the Witch Doctor. He comes in with his Orchid, gets the counter kill. Maybe they put some pressure on top, but Empire don't fall for it. And with this ward right here, Toby, they see the Storm rotate down, and they're like, oh, he doesn't have a TP. They immediately clicked on his items, I saw. They ping him out like crazy, and they're like, we can get some more damage on this for free.
Yep.
We don't have to worry right now.
Well, now EG are preparing themselves to fight. They're going to, again, take the cancerous approach and look in for Team Empire. And Empire are very much aware of this because they basically did it right next to the Observer ward. So they come out, they smoke themselves, Resolution moves forward, there's a repel on the Storm Spirit, surprise Diffusal Blade's going to take it off him, and now he's stuck in the middle of the Storm with his Disruptor ulti. Maybe there's enough, yeah, there is. Howie's in trouble, and this is a big fight for Team Empire. It's going to be a 3-for-0 PPD, attempt to TP out, can't do it. Howie's down as well. Empire, beautiful fight for them.
Oh my gosh. And Funnick with the backline Orchid onto Fear. Perfect fight for Empire right now, 4-0ing EG here. They can't fight that kind of team fight. The surprise Diffusal, on top of the fact that Funnick was in perfect position to get the Orchid off on Fear. That was one of those YOLO smokes that you think, okay, well, we're not really getting much accomplished. What can we do here? And who has buyback right now for EG?
Nah, we have buybacks over on no one.
And this is going to mean a 26-minute racks in response.
Yep.
10 seconds left on EG's heroes.
It won't be any more than this, but Empire are fine with that. Great play by Empire. It's a terrific fight, and then to capitalize into the buildings. This is where they'll be headed next. It's all prep time for Roshan. Get the next Aegis the Immortal. Get the next big team fight. EG. You said the last time it was a smoke to try and find any kind of opening. They have to do exactly the same thing. The smoke's off cooldown in 2 seconds time, and they do have all their ultimates apart from Guardian Angel of PPD.
They're pinging out top. They know that Funnick is up here. Maybe try to look for that. And I mean, life just got so much harder right now because Sumail, he ran in immediately and he sees the Static Storm and he says to himself, okay, I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, he's like, okay, this is our dream fight. I'm going to kill somebody really quickly, guys. The defusal comes out on silent, realizing that that's the necessary item build, makes the adjustment, doesn't just go for things that he naturally does. And at top, EG, they've set up camp here because they realize this is the safest part of the map right now. And they've actually got a ward on Empire side of the jungle too.
The only way I see EG going to win this, wait patiently for Empire to push in and get as much vision out on your side of the map so you can get as much farm as possible while you're waiting. Because Empire, if you stay inside your base, you're kind of screwed. Because Empire's going to farm up space after space, take Roshan after Roshan, and they'll just win on team fight. Because your ulti combo is not working.
Yeah, and Funnick right now, at 27 minutes, has a fully completed Scythe of Ice as well. Almost his level 3 ultimate on top of that. And he's just itemizing to stomp out EG's hopes. Like, this is the item right now that's going to make life even more difficult for EG. He's got a Hex and an Orchid, 2 different ways to stop out 2 different heroes on EG. And I don't know, there's no BKBs coming out on the side of EG just yet.
They can't afford him. Well, they really can't afford him. And, okay, well, there's going to be the start of one over on Fear. And he's probably the only one I think should even buy one. Primarily because, like, Storm Spirit needs to find damage. More than anything else needs to find damage. Need to find these kills and rely on heroes like Witch Doctor getting a long duration death ward off with the Aghanim's upgrade. He needs 1400 gold to get it. And then catch out Empire during the team fight. But that puts so much weight onto Fear's shoulders. It's shifted from Sumail because Sumail doesn't have this immunity anymore. Maybe the jump in, always want to fly. Revenge. Yes, they're at least in a small amount.
And he's got a regen as well, and you need to look for those solo pickoffs. You have to assume that he's alone there, and you have to go for that risk.
Yep.
Omni Knight, nobody's even near him there. That was just a game sense thing. He's like, okay, they probably think that they're far enough ahead. I have to go for something wild here. And
they're about to go again. They saw Aloha dance by himself, and then Resolution showed himself, and they backed out.
Yeah, and then Storm Spirit. The one thing, too, that the defusal does is it catches him down. Normally, you would try to get a BKB in this scenario, but you're so hard committed to this Bloodstone already, and Empire going for their next Roshan. And look at the stats-heavy build by Resolution. This is meant to go for the high ground and just survive the initial burst damage from the Storm Spirit.
Universe probably have a scattered Roshan in 3 seconds when this rocket comes off cooldown. It'll arrive just before Roshan's going to die. That's, yeah, here comes the rocket. So we're again going to go for the scout. And there it is. They see Roshan's done. Empire of the Aegis Immortal in their hands. And they're ready to go for the final push. Well, I say final push. At least a push up through the top lane. Get that side Rax advantage and split them up. Unless EG... Okay, yep, they're going to jump in. There's your Chronosphere. Resolution has to be controlled by Universe into the Death Ward. San taking a large amount of damage. He has a malediction on him, but he gets the mech charge off too. The Cogs try and push him back. At the same time, Universe was able to get out. Aoi will not be so successful. They just forced-starved and TP'd away to safety.
And look at that Urn. Just continuing to heal up Silent right now. He did use his mech already, but they want to sustain this push. They know for a fact that Fear no longer has that ultimate. They're pinging down this mid tower, and that's the one hope that EG had. The Chrono plus Death Ward. How long in the Chrono? 84 seconds right now. How long in the Death Ward? 50? That was your hope right now for EG. Not enough damage coming out on that. And so it doesn't even matter who's alive and who's dead. All that matters is that Chronosphere timing.
Yep. So count it down, 70 seconds. How much damage can EG do? No Aghanims for Silence, so it's not going to be the greatest push in the world, but you've got a double damage that Queen of Pain was able to pick up. So she'll get the last hit on that tier 2 tower, and they're just going straight through mid.
Empire played this out so brilliantly. All they have to do here is not throw the lead away.
Alright. Aghanim's done for Witch Doctor. 14 seconds, 45 seconds. These are the countdowns, which mean the world to EG. As Resolution, just playing chip game. Or are they? Hello.
They have to know all they have to do is take down this tower, then they can assault the high ground. This is the strength of Sniper right now.
Yep.
Send Silent in first. He's the tankiest hero in the game. You don't have to worry about getting initiated on, because until the Chrono's up, you know that EG don't want to fight. But at the same time, if you're EG, if you wait too long, losing 2 racks could also mean the death of you.
16 seconds. Range Rax is dropping. They can start the engagement a little bit earlier and try and force Empire out. The fortification, 7 seconds. I don't know if anyone's got this on a timer. Resolution, that cask, it's going to bounce back down. But he's got the Aegis Immortal. They're happy if he dies. If he can take out the racks, he already took out the range. And the bottom lane's pushing in quite heavily, and EG have to do something about this.
Empire perfectly timed that out. They have to know, okay, the Aegis, yeah, we've got it, but at the same time, the Chronosphere's up. Let's
Yep.
be okay with just taking the tower and this range rack.
Yeah.
And this is
They're
so
under no
smart.
pressure to finish. They don't have to finish.
Yeah, they've got that tri-core combination. It's not like Sumail's anywhere close to a BKB or anything that can save his life. And it's not like Universe is getting any farm either. At most, Fear is getting marginal farm. He's kind of getting close to his BKB, but if you're Empire, all you have to do is gather up this farm lead. Silent's got an Aghanims as well, so sieging that high ground is going to become even easier. And Funnick as well, he's got his point booster and the Vit booster. Probably going for this Bloodstone, getting steadily ahead in farm.
Obviously, you're going to get later in the game. The more Bloodstone charges you can have, the greater it is, 1 for your team and 2 for your respawn timer. Now, Sumail, he's the closest one. The smoke's going to break and warp. Okay, jumps in front, jumps straight away before the Orchid can be triggered. And that's a very, very long way to chase if you're going to get that kill. So smoke gank from Empire is going to fail, but they'll add a little bit more pressure into the mid, into the bottom lane.
Resolution getting out of there. He doesn't want to get isolated because even with this Aegis, if he dies twice here, and he would die twice really quickly by himself, and Empire making the rotation over. The smoke attempt, it was just one of those things. If it works, we just automatically win the game. If it doesn't, we're still probably heading down mid, so it doesn't really matter.
Yep. Oh, here they come. I'll watch this timer. So still 1 minute 10. 1 minute 10.
Are under attack.
PPD, we see another smoke up. What's he really going to do? Fear?
Fear has to catch the backline, but if
He
he walks forward
can't.
too far, then he's just going to get hexed.
Look how far the back they are. The Rock is giving a vision. They see always want to fly, and there's your Chrono up. They go over for Silent. The Death Wall is going to go to work, and Silent, he should die here. Aui's in range, but maybe not. The bouncing damage, always want to fly. Actually dies to the spill damage from the Witch Doctor, but Universe has no way out. This might be it right now. They've lost 3. GG is the call. Team Empire claim the LAN finals for the joinDota MLG Pro League. Congratulations to the Russians. They worked hard. They got through the grand final. It looked like EG could have done the longest road to victory. Quarterfinal, semi-final, grand final. But it just wasn't to be.
And you couldn't find a more deserving team to win. Empire going 4-1 in the group stages, being able to beat out NIP in that tiebreaker. Clean 2-1 victory over EG, especially that second game where you felt like EG was going to pull off something miraculous, and they look so happy right now, hugging each other. They're jumping up and down for joy.
Well, they should. It means so much to them because this result, it almost guarantees them a TI5 invite because they've just brought down EG, and it's not just EG on some online competition. It's at a LAN, in front of a crowd, with the pressure on, up against a lot of the top teams from the Western scene too, and justifying that position, that's what they've just done. They should be very, very happy with their performance. And yeah, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it, man.
Thank you so much, by the way, for having me and Toby on the broadcast. This is my first on-camera broadcast for joinDota, and my first broadcast for joinDota in general.
You've done a great job. Also, big shout out to Nahaz. Nahaz's been doing a great job down at the panel too, and also hosted by Zoe, and all our guests. Cap did a great job as well. Hope you do follow us all. It's been some great times. The players are about to make their way down for the presentations. I know Zoe is awaiting their presence. Last words, big shout outs to the other teams, NIP. I think they really played fantastic Dota throughout the entire competition, as well as the other quarterfinalists, MVP. They might have had a couple of hurdles today that they didn't really climb over, but they played some fantastic Dota.
Yeah, and I think they're going to learn a lot from this experience. Thanks to every team that actually showed up as well. Balkan Bears has been absolutely gracious in defeat as well. Not today. I think Mystico was poking me and looking at me, and he's like, hey. He's like, I was like, what's up? And he's like, can you ask March if he'll give me his jacket? And I was like, why? And he's like, that thing looks awesome. And so all of the teams, I mean, they're showing camaraderie. It doesn't seem like there's any bad blood between anybody. And
yep.
I mean, give it up for EG as well. Having to run the gauntlet, 3 best-of-3s in a row, 1 game away from accomplishing it as well.
Yeah, it's been a long haul for them. And it kind of was of their own making. Like, they had some problems. They had some serious problems in that group stage, but they were here early this morning. They were prepping themselves for the games. It was wonderful. It was very hard Dota to play throughout this competition. It's not just that standard meta which we've been seeing online. It was Troll was Matt Damon.
No, I'm saying that's a good movie, and then you're saying 8 Mile's a classic?
Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Okay, so EG...
And everyone thought Aragon would be a really great movie. All right, the draft is fully underway. Before we actually start talking about the draft, I want to give a massive shout out to all the people who are, tuning in at some ungodly hour of the morning over in Europe, to all the Americans that are currently tuning in, and most importantly, to the hardcore dedicated crowd that's still here for the last game of the night. You guys have been absolutely amazing. It's one of the most friendliest crowds that I have definitely had the wonderful experience to cast for, so it's been absolutely wonderful, and to reward you, Troll has been banned.
Yeah, and actually, this is probably maybe my, I don't know, I just said probably maybe. This might be my favorite event just because everyone's been so nice. I know the players also say that all of the fans for this event especially are really respectful. Everyone's been really kind.
Yeah.
Whenever they have criticism too, it's actually done constructively. Sometimes I'll go to an event and somebody will just like sling at me, but this one has been great.
The funny thing is, I haven't heard anything negative from any of the players. I'm looking forward to listening to PPD's vlog to see what he says about the event. But it's been a wonderful experience. So while we have the moments before we end up wrapping up at the end of the night, I just want to say big shout out as well to MLG for getting back into Dota 2. It's great to have them here in the scene.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone who has actually learned that there is a world outside of one streaming platform. There are multiple streaming platforms in the world. So shout out to you guys too. Draft time, Blitz.
Of course.
Let's bring it to Dota. We've had enough of a jerk session, so let's get into the game.
It's never enough of a joke session over on joinDota. All right, so we've got Team Empire taking the sniper first. You've got Evil Geniuses, though. I talked about the 2 out of the 3 counters that hard counter sniper, right? What did we just see? We
Storm
saw the
Spirit, Clockwork, and
immediately.
Spectre. That's
Spirit Breaker.
And
but
Spirit Breaker, sorry.
Close
yeah.
enough.
The Spectre work as well.
So you've got the Clockwork and the Storm Spirit immediately picked up, and Empire baiting that Storm Spirit, taking the Disruptor. That's so dangerous, though. This is the hero that I can't stress enough. Like, when you play Storm, it feels different than any other hero, Toby. It really does, because the mechanics of the hero, I'm telling you from experience.
Sorry, do you want a Craigasm?
No, it's just the fact that when it comes to this hero, oh man, everything I'm going to say is going to sound so weird, but when it comes to Storm Spirit, it's different than any other mid hero that you're going to play. The mechanics of it, you play by feel, and so you're giving Sumail a hero, which you remember, he had that one rough game against MVP, but every game since then, he's absolutely dominated on this hero. I think, like in 2 of the games I saw, he had a sub 25-minute Bloodstone and an Orchid. You can't discount his impact. And I think he's going to play better against the Disruptor than he did in the MVP game. And in that game,
it was also really weak. Like on that first day, he kind of storm bolted into the static storm. That was where some problems were. Like you felt like he can go for it. You felt like he was invincible, and then EG got knocked down not once but twice. And since that point, he's been really on the mark and not overextending himself.
Yeah, he's been playing that perfectly controlled aggression sort of style. And I mean, you give Universe the Clockwork as well, which he's played absolutely phenomenally on this entire tournament.
Yep.
The other reason, too, that they pick the Clockwork every game is so that they can constantly scout out the Roshan. You notice past the 10-minute mark, what Universe does with his rockets, he doesn't scout anywhere else. He doesn't stack Ancients. All he does is throw a friendly rocket into the Rosh Pit at all times just to make sure that you're not doing it. Yep. Empire, though, the one thing that they do lack right now, the Roshan ability.
That's very, very true. But you've still got another 3 pickups to come. And if we actually start looking a little bit closer at Empire's heroes, you got Sniper and Disruptor. Both heroes which you cannot run away from unless you're Storm Spirit. Or you have a target you can hookshot out to. Okay, 2 heroes which you can potentially run away from. But you have Sniper and Disruptor. They're meant to force EG into fights which they do not want to take. The glimpse back ability is actually really bad for a Clockwork if he hookshots out and tries to glimpse, and he gets glimpsed just as he's about to do it. Because then you're going to come back in, you've got no more escape mechanisms to really play around with. And that's where Empire can try and capitalize on the situation. They've still got a lot more to play around with. You've got a good team fight ulti, which can potentially be countered by the man who I hate his grin. I hate his remodel.
I don't know if he's
so
grinning, dude.
weird.
He doesn't have eyes. He doesn't know what he's looking at.
You can tell it from the teeth. He's like the guy from Lord of the Rings that comes out. So it's like, I have something I was bidden to show thee.
What? All right. I really need to watch more movies.
Know?
I don't know a lot of popular culture, but...
I don't know if I can talk with you anymore.
All right, so he's going to sip his Red Bull. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. The Faceless Void, we saw them pick it up
Monster, aren't I?
against the end.
I'm sipping whoever wants to pay for the next season no more. It could be a 7-Up. It could be a Sprite.
What are you laughing at? Nobody's laughing with you. So we've got...
That's one of those ones which you'll eventually work out later on.
They're clapping for me, Toby. Do you hear it?
Yes.
All right, so we've got.
Yes.
All right, let me analyze.
What are you laughing at, Blitz?
Nothing at all. At myself. So we got the Faceless Void picked up by Evil Geniuses. They used it against NIP as well, if you remember earlier, and they actually dominated with that hero. They synergized with it really well. This was one of the heroes that you saw EG especially play very often. Normally it went for Universe, but I'm assuming just because the Clockwork has been picked up already, it's probably going to be a Fear hero. But it does well against all 3 heroes that Empire have so far.
Yep. I'm wondering if Resolution's almost doing a bit of a block pick as well with Queen of Pain. So there's no way to get the Sonic Wave into the Chrono, because that's exactly the combination they ran last time. So it's just being denied by Resolution, and it's one of these things too where I kind of almost want to take another moment out before we end this draft, just to talk about the different styles of Dota that we have seen today. Like the way MVP played, the way NIP played, the way now Team Empire played, and the fact that EG have to accommodate all of them all in a row. This is now their 8th game they've had to play today. They're obviously tired. Fear normally doesn't play more than 3 games before that wrist starts to give out, or elbow, whatever part of his arm. So the fact they've managed to do this is just a testament, 1, to their stamina, and 2, to how dynamic that team can be. Also just how dynamic the gameplay can be. Because all these teams brought something new, and they didn't just go Faceless Void Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm really impressed about too is that we've just seen a variety of styles, like you say, that match up. We haven't seen that whole thing that a lot of pros complain about with the high ground defense and games turning into 2-hour affairs. Everybody is playing to win. I was about to say, and I didn't want to interrupt you, I think it's going to be the Witch Doctor pickup next, but
it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's really obvious.
Yeah,
it's the classic combination.
Try yourself something harder and tell me what the second support hero of EG will be.
Okay, it's going to be, if they play normally, I'm going to say it might be,
you know what I'm going to say?
Could be a Rubik pick. Omni? Are you going to say Omni Knight?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to say Vengeful Spirit.
Okay. Well, okay, so you'll say Venge.
Yep.
I'll say it'll be...
Oh, really?
Omni? That's going to be my off-the-wall pick.
Okay.
And my normal pick will be... Tree?
Tree and Protector?
They have, like, no damage on their supports early then.
10 seconds remaining.
Zeus?
Rubik's actually even better now. I'm actually
Rubik
really
can work out
liking.
too.
I'm really liking Rubik. Up against someone like Undying, there's so much great stuff to steal. But not to mention Disruptor Sniper as well as Quab. Like Sniper, you're either going to get Shrapnel or you're going to get Assassination. If you can get range, of course. That's the other small catch. But what I'm worried about is, like, if Storm Spirit does get caught inside that Static Storm, then you need to have someone that can get them out of trouble. I don't know, because I don't know if EG really have that. Beyond Faceless Void jumping in with a Chronosphere and splitting the fight up, there's no real escape mechanisms for EG.
Yeah.
Or get out jail free card things. The Rubik Telekinesis would do it in a way.
I think they need some sort of lockdown aside from in one of their supports, or they need something to protect Samael. Dazzle, Omni Knight, Vengeful Spirit, all of these heroes are something that I'd like to see. And almost nobody picks Omni though. Like, it's something that's pretty rare. But it's just one of those off-the-wall predictions that if they do,